or I shall live your epitaph to make, or you survive when I in earth am rotten. From hence your memory death cannot take, although in me each part will be forgotten. Your name from hence immortal life shall have, though I, once gone, to all the world must die. The earth can yield me but a common grave, where you, entombed in men's eyes, shall lie. Your monument shall be my gentle verse, which eyes not yet created shall o'erread, and tongues to be your being shall rehearse. When all the breathers of this world are dead, you still shall live. Such is the virtue of my pen. Where breath most breathes, even in the mouths of men. Sonnet 81. Yeah, a weird one. So this is another climacteric, and it feels out of place relative to the past few. So we had a few rival poet sonnets, 78, 79, 80. 77 was another grand climacteric, which was a departure from the previous several. Yes, 77, and then I think 63 was the one before that. 63 and 81 are particularly grand climacterics, which are like supposedly impactful numerical years in someone's life. 63 coinciding with 7 times 9, and 63 was like, I guess, Queen Elizabeth reaching her grand climacteric of 63 was like a big deal when that happened, which makes sense considering at the time that was a relatively long life. And so this one, these climacteric sonnets are very much kind of on an island thematically from the other ones. And so this one was interesting, and they all do kind of share this kind of like, we're going to stop, we're going to tell you, hey, when I'm gone, you're still going to be here. Which is so interesting because we've done a couple of these, and this is the first time it's really hitting me that like Shakespeare talks a lot about how he will be forgotten and the fair youth is what's going to be remembered. But we still talk about Shakespeare, and there's still no consensus today who the fair youth even was. So he's wrong. He's wrong. We talk about him. I'm sure there was part of that was tongue-in-cheek. The self-effacing, self-deprecating tone of a lot of the sonnets, even within a sonnet, would sometimes be undercut by little jabs or sarcasm. So it's a device. It's not necessarily really how Shakespeare felt. But he also didn't like, I was reading a little bit before I started to memorize this one, that like he didn't really like seem to care too much about all his works getting printed and how that was done. It's like, it's kind of amazing to think about how at the time, not only was he just cranking out all this work, he kind of was like in his own world about it to a certain extent. He wasn't like micromanaging the release of it or anything like that. So it's very interesting, and I find it so amazing that even today we still don't know who the fair youth was. There are theories, but like we don't know for sure. And it's a mystery, and that's really kind of cool to think about, that being a mystery. So yeah, the third stanza is beautiful. The language talking about words almost really being the person, like you will live on after you die in this verse. And when people speak your name, they're speaking you into existence, or speak these verses about you, they're speaking you into existence. Is a really cool thing to think about, and real interesting imagery. And it's so funny because we are. Like, that's what I just did. I just spoke this sonnet, and it was written hundreds of years ago. Shakespeare's long dead. Whoever he wrote this about is long dead. And both are true, I guess. We are keeping the fair youth alive, even though we don't know who it was even about. But obviously, we keep Shakespeare alive. We're still working on his poetry and plays, centuries after he's dead. So, yeah, really interesting to think about. So yeah, these ones, I've enjoyed most of these climacteric ones that kind of they come off a bit more um, earnest and sincere. Although the self-effacing nature of like, well, I'm going to be long dead. This one in particular, it seemed to be a little bit more introspective. Like it wasn't like, oh, look at me, look how self-deprecating I can be. I got a genuine sense of like, when you die, you might be forgotten, and acknowledging that that is a risk, um, and how that makes you feel about your own mortality is just came off as really genuine, which I appreciate when Shakespeare's genuine. It's a lot of the time, but not always. So yeah, that was Sonnet 81. I'm assuming it'll go back to the rival poet for 82, so we'll see how that one is. But yeah, thanks for watching.